Come here.
First of all, I just wanted to join in at the start of the video to tell you guys. See that girl over there with those fat ass titties? I don't know, Chavez said she got some fat ass titties. Go to this part of the video and go, hey, you there. You have some fat ass, SkittenSays, you got some fat ass titties. Not whoever showed it to you didn't say it, but who I'm telling you that you do. That the person that showed you didn't, it's not their idea. It's my idea.
You can go now.
I'll see you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Just ruined my video.
What? By what? By what? She does have, look at them. Look, you see them. Them shits is juicier than them all.
Please don't tell your mother.
Your mom, don't be gross.
You're the one who made it gross.
Now somebody's mama does have fat ass titties, but that's not who I'm talking about.
Okay, but what other girls do you think they're with right now?
Somebody's out there in the club right now.
Watching our video.
Instead of doing what they should be doing. Somebody's on the subway right now. Somebody's on the public bus. Somebody's in class. Somebody's walking to class.
If you're in class and watching this video, shame on you.
You know, a lot of people actually do that shit.
For shame. Don't stop.
Also,
but be ashamed.
Also, if it's a dude and they have fat ass titties, also that too.
If it's a dude and they have fat ass titties, you play like a bongo drum. You just be like, ba-bow. Okay, done talking about that. What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten. That was a special guest appearance by the Beyonce. I just realized I never stopped fucking recording the video. I never stopped the action cam. I just stopped the action cam. No, I don't want your kisses.
Don't kiss me.
You made it weird.
Why?
Talking about other people's titties.
You like fat ass titties? Because everybody likes fat ass titties.
Here we go.
Here we go. Alright, now it's time to go. Sorry, I'm cutting that flat.
We are less than a month from the wedding. Your girl is about to be a wife. My hair has taken on a personality of its own. My shirt is popping, okay? And we are here to see, we are here to have Redditors tell us some stories about the shocking family secrets revealed by children at daycare. Yo, little kids ain't got no effing filter. Woo! Sorry, I almost like was cussing. But little kids ain't got no freaking filter, and they'll just like tell you shit. Just like have some strange kid walk up to you and be like, my daddy tries on my mama's skirts when she's not home. Be like, bitch, what the fuck? Oh, excuse me. Be like, bleep, what the bleep? Like, what? Why? I am attempting to censor myself so much. It's very difficult. It's hard. It's very hard. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started.
Shocking family secret you have been told by a 3-year-old. I dated a girl with 2 kids.
Got it.
I was watching them while she went to the...
Okay. I would just like to go back really quickly. Daycare workers of Reddit. Following question. I dated a girl with 2 kids. Sir, you are not who we're talking to. You are not a daycare worker. Dating somebody with kids does not make you a daycare worker. That's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. I'll still listen to your story though.
I was watching them while she went to the doctor. She had a serious medical problem and she wanted the kids to not be there and see her all stressed out. Was watching Toy Story with her 3-year-old daughter. I guess the daughter started understanding that her mom and I are more than friends.
Got it.
She said, would you hit mama? I was shocked and I said, of course not. What put that idea in your head? And she teared up and said my daddy used to hit her and she...
Goddamn, what the fuck? Play pause, play pause. Sorry about that interruption, Ho Biscuits. You know, when your soon-to-be mother-in-law calls, you answer the goddamn phone. So anyways, this little girl was like stressed out because her dad used to hit her mom and she thought this dude was gonna do it, and I guess the mom never told him.
She started crying. I just did my best. I explained to her that I would never hurt any of them and how people who love each other should behave, and that her dad had a sickness that caused him to act strangely.
Okay.
He was an addict. I got her a popsicle and she calmed down as Buzz Lightyear and Woody were flying into the car.
Good.
I was aware that their dad hit their mom but I didn't know the daughter witnessed it or would even remember.
Okay.
When my son was 3, I bought my wife back Titanic on video. Yes, it was a long time ago.
That was a long ass
For
time
her
ago,
birthday.
sir.
He asked if he could watch it after nursery school. We said that it wasn't really a film for children. It was a film for grown-ups, like mommy and daddy. When I picked him
Again, I would just like to say my son, not a daycare worker.
up later, his nursery
Don't
teacher
care.
was stifling her laughter as he had been telling everyone all day that it was his mummy's birthday that day and that daddy had bought mummy a special video that only mummies and daddies could watch. I teach 2-year-olds and we were asking the kids what their parents' names were just to see if they knew. I asked a little boy, "What's mommy's name?" He says, "Michelle." Then I asked, "What's daddy's name?" And he looks confused, as if he's trying to figure out the answer, but can't. So I ask, "What does mommy call daddy?" assuming he would say John. Instead he looked up at me and says, "Big Papa." I couldn't help but bust out laughing. Not really a shocking secret, but it got a laugh out of me. I had my preschoolers rounded up for circle time. Going off their interests of the day, I decided to ask who was a boy and who was a girl, since that's what happened to be the one thing every 3-year-old cared about that day.
Okay.
Through the sea of children I hear a couple responses. "I'm a boy," "I'm a girl," etc. Then out of nowhere all the way in the back I hear "I'm black."
Oh
He
my
sure
god.
was. God, I miss that class.
Oh my
Good
god.
times.
Children, why?
My grandma owns a home daycare and a female toddler that she babysat decided to try and pull down a male toddler's pants and kiss his pee-pee. My
What?
grandma immediately asked her where she learned that, and she said, "My daddy."
No! Oh my god.
My grandma reported it, and an investigation was done, and her family was actually very grateful that she did it.
Oh my
Even
God.
her dad. An investigation was done, and they found nothing wrong and the parents 100% cooperated. Kids sometimes just say odd things, but they were glad to know that my grandma takes those sorts of things seriously.
Right.
So I guess it's not a family secret, but my grandma certainly thought it could have been at the time.
That would be so
I
fucking
once had a
stressful.
little girl tell me she saw daddy licking mommy like a doggy. That was hilarious and awkward. There were a handful of really sad cases where children would disclose neglect or abuse. One girl in particular had a meltdown one day when she had an accident in her underwear. Turned out that her mom would slap her around just gently enough to not leave mark and lock her in a closet when she
Aw, poor
misbehaved,
baby.
which included accidents.
Oh,
Needless
this
to
video
say,
was
we
sad
reported
and
the
not
mother to
funny like I thought it was
CPS
gonna
and
be.
did a rush job washing the girl's clothing so she could go home in the same clothes she wore to school without her mom knowing about the accident. Lots of kids spilling the beans on new pregnancies or divorces, arguments between parents,
Yes, see, that's
or
what I thought we
infidelity.
were gonna hear about.
Kids see and hear a lot, and they tend to have incredibly good memory for that kind of stuff.
They really do.
I
The kids will remember like the most random of details. Like, why do you know that? I don't understand.
DK if this counts. But a 3-year-old told me he had belly aches every day because mommy gave him too much sleepy juice. I said, "What's what?" He didn't know. I brought it up to her and she said like it was all normal and fine, even with a little laugh. Yeah, sometimes I give him a little bit too much NyQuil because the little shit doesn't sleep, and I was like, no child that age should have any NyQuil.
What?
She laughed it off and said, "Oh, he's been getting it since he was a year old. Nothing bad has happened."
Oh my god.
And on top of that, the kids always came in smelling like strong weed.
Oh,
CPS
no.
was called. Not a daycare worker, but I used
That reminds me of my friend. I had a friend. Was it a friend? Sorry. So that reminds me of the story that I heard about these people. I think it was like on one of these videos. It was talking about like the kids used to drink pink milk, and like the babysitter or whatever always assumed they were talking about strawberry milk, but they were actually talking about fucking like Benadryl in their milk to make the kids go to sleep. That's just fucked up.
to have a tax practice.
Okay, see? Here's somebody who just straight up says, not a daycare worker. That's what we're looking for. Transparency, people.
A client came into my office to drop off his tax paperwork with his 5 kids, ages 3 to 10, in tow. He said he needed to go run an errand and left, leaving the kids in my office.
What?
For me to babysit while I worked on his taxes.
What?
The kids were shy, quiet and well behaved, but the youngest finally started a conversation with me. My daddy hits my mommy. This isn't exactly scandalous.
Kids really do that shit,
The
though.
shocking things I have heard usually involve abuse. We had a family from Texas, moved to the daycare I worked at in Illinois. The boy would try and tell us stories, but we never could fully get all the details for it to make sense. It would usually go like this. Boy, you know who's bad? Me. Who is bad? Boy, the black man. Me. Who? Boy, the black man is bad. He hurts people. Me. What man? Why does he hurt people? Boy, the black man. He's scary. After a few weeks of this, the boy was the one to always bring the black man topic up.
Okay.
I finally was able to discover that the black man was Darth Vader.
Oh
I
my
had assumed
God.
that perhaps this southern family had a streak of racism, but it just
my
turned out I was
God.
prejudiced against southern.
Yo, I legit thought that too. I was like, yo, so they're just telling their kid that black dudes are scary? Unsurprising. Fucking Darth Vader.
Oh
That's
my.
fucking hilarious.
I can't believe this isn't one of the first ones that popped into my head. There was a little girl and boy, about 3 and 1. They were in foster care and had great foster parents. Well, they would get picked up about once a week by a social worker and taken to their parents for visits. Well, one time, when they came back from the first UN supervised visit, the little 1-year-old started breathing really heavy and raspy, and then all of a sudden barely breathing at all. We think maybe an allergic reaction to something. Of course we call an ambulance. Then not even 10 minutes after he's off to the hospital, it happens to the little 3-year-old. But she starts throwing up too, and then not being able to breathe.
Oh my God.
So we're all like, WTF is going on? The owner goes to the hospital with the kids and calls later to let us know what is going on. Turns out the real parents poisoned both of the kids. They turned out okay. The little boy had a lot more in his system and was in the hospital for a few months. But overall, everything went back to normal. Needless to say, the parents went to prison. Their reason for doing it was because if they couldn't have them, then no one else was raising them.
Are you
which made
kidding
no
me?
sense because they were fairly close to getting them back. You never know how shitty some parents can be
Oh my God,
until you work in
that's
childcare.
awful.
I used to work at a church during the summer, and one time and little boy just up and told me as we were walking to chapel that his daddy spanks his mommy with a wooden spoon after they go to bed. Obviously nothing illegal here, but it was a funny
Oh
story
my
and the parents were
God.
informed that their little angel knew of their shenanigans and to have a talk with him.
That's
They
fucking
tell me
hilarious.
everything. If you lie to your daycare worker, your child will spill the beans.
100%.
I have lots of 3-year-olds struggling with potty training. Every single parent will tell me they are working with a child at home. Your kid will tell me if that's true, or if you're just putting them in diaper as soon as you get home. Biggest thing I've been told. One little girl mentioned how her grandma tries to breastfeed her. Her grandma picked her up every day from daycare and had her just about all afternoon with her, alone. We called parents and CPS. An investigation was done and grandma admitted to holding her like she was nursing, but claimed they were just cuddling. From my conversation with the little one, it sounded like it was definitely going on. She was really detailed for an almost 3-year-old. Grandma walked away unscathed and still picked little girl up from daycare regularly. With a group of 3-year-olds, we were coloring paper ties for Father's Day and talking about what their dads liked to do. As the kids were calling out their dad's hobbies, one little girl had an epiphany. She gasped and shouted in excitement, "I have a dad." She had recently been adopted by her foster parents.
Oh, that's cute.
Not a secret, and not a daycare worker, but I do work with young children at a private tutoring company.
Then keep your secrets to yourself. We don't want no non-daycare workers here. I'm just kidding. Give us all the tea.
But a little girl, just turned 6, at my workplace once turned to another girl who was being disruptive and calmly said, "Go and see a therapist, darling. You sound like you need one." It was hilarious at the time, but also kinda sad that the girl had heard that phrase often enough to be able to parrot it
Bitch,
during an
who is
argument.
teaching these kids?
Not sure if this counts. Why, friends 1. Had a day off from work and a 6-year-old sits at the table next to me, and we start talking about different fish in the world. His parents were divorced, and they have split custody. He and his sister only come part-time. So I grab my phone and we look up different tropical fish and whatnot. After a bit he tells me he only likes his mom and sister, hates his dad, stepmom, and stepbrother. Talks about how he is going to light his dad's house on fire with the people he hates still in it. I told his stepmom about it when she came to pick him up. He went to therapy for a while. His real mom gets a new live-in boyfriend every month or so. Apparently one has given him swellers a few times and another was a convicted child molester. The dad reports this shit to CPS, but they never do anything about it. I once had CPS called on my parents because I told my daycare worker there was nothing to eat and I was starving. True story was my mom hadn't had time to get groceries and asked my dad to go before I left for daycare, saying something like, "Could you pick up the groceries? I don't want her to starve for another day tomorrow." I actually had breakfast that morning, but not the usual, and refused to eat it all. I never saw my mom so embarrassed ever again.
God.
Not a daycare worker, but something rather similar. I helped with foster children for a long time, and one who was in the process of being taken from her mother, 3 years old, told me giggling that Mel was sucking mommy's boob. Mel was her grandmother. She also told me that when she was a little tiny her mom put her in a crib and a scary man came into the room and grabbed mommy and jumped all over her while mommy screamed, "No, my baby is watching, stop stop." Apostrophe. So I worked in a day nursery for about 4 or so years, and I will never forget the day their 3-year-old outed her mum and dad for having a sex swing in their bedroom by drawing a pretty graphic picture of the swing and her mummy laying back in it and daddy kneeling down in front of her. We reported it to management because of policies and procedures, but my lord, I had to leave the room and laugh before I imploded. The same child maybe 3 or 4 days later pipes up during a conversation about religion. It was around Christmas time, so we were covering what religions have what festival/gods etc. She announces that her mummy loves God very much and prays to him a lot at night. Without even thinking we asked how does she pray. She responded with the making sex moans and saying, "Oh my God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Yes, I'm so close." And that she thought it was sweet she felt so close to God. I miss this kid. I had a
That's so awkward and embarrassing. Wait, I was gonna stop the video there, but I just read this and excuse me?
Kid called me a bitch before and slapped me on the face.
What?
That one was fun. He was in the foster system.
I don't even need context for that. What the fuck? I hope you gave that kid a little nap tap, just a, ugh. All right, we're done with this video. It was a lot sadder than I expected it to be, but it finally got, I don't know what this is, but it finally got funny. So with that said, peace out, ho biscuits, it's getting lit.